Hello everyone, I'm Marvi Sirmed and you are watching Democracy Matters. Today I want to discuss some remarks made by Dr. Moeed Yousaf, Special Assistant to Prime Minister of Pakistan on National Security Division and Strategic Policy Planning. He was speaking to Michael Kugelman, Asia Program Deputy Director and Senior Associate for South Asia at the Woodrow Wilson Center, as part of a virtual conversation that Wilson Center hosted on US-Pakistan relations in Biden era. The remarks he made required some context, and a few facts and ground realities need to be highlighted so that the people who watched his interview may get the full picture of the kind of democracy being followed in Pakistan, about which he claimed Pakistan was following the democratic model to the T. His first assertion was that the entire world was struggling with the issue of human rights and freedom of expression in a post-ICT world. So is Pakistan. Well, to tell the truth, Pakistan's human rights crisis did not start in post-ICT world, nor this ICT progress has a direct bearing on civil liberties in Pakistan, except the fact that Pakistani state's manipulation, distortion, and violation of cyberspace alongside the regular mainstream media is complete now. The electronic and cybercrimes legislation that was brought in 2016 by pressurizing and blackmailing political parties has been further amended now, and with these added restrictions for citizens, they have criminalized the political and ideological dissent. Well, no other military in the world, except for the authoritarian and non-democratic countries, no other military could get away with the crimes that Pakistani military does on regular basis. Enforced disappearances, for instance. Military and intelligence agencies working under the military, they have admitted in the Supreme Court of Pakistan that they have been and still are running illegal internment centers where they keep abductees, Pakistani citizens, abducted citizens, without any legal procedure and without even having statutory powers to arrest a civilian. Neither the courts nor the parliament could do anything because the military always manipulates its way, even when it is caught pants down, crushing country's laws and constitution under its boots. These enforced disappearances have been intensified now in Balochistan, Sindh, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa over past, I think, couple of years especially. The Inquiry Commission on Enforced Disappearances was made just to duplicate the international watch bodies. A compromised retired judge who is always too eager to please the masters in the establishment was installed as its head. Pakistani media has not witnessed such draconian restrictions in decades that they are facing under the premiership of Mr. Imran Khan right now. TV channels and newspapers are dictated by the officials of ISPR, which is military's media wing, or ISI, the most influential intelligence agency, or the Electronic Media Regulatory Authority. They are subjected to suspension of licenses or heavy fines or outright closures if they fail to fall in line. Journalists fear abduction by security agencies if they try to deviate from the line given by the state institutions, including the incumbent political government in these days. If Dr. Yousaf would like, I can send him dozens of reports by international watchdogs like Freedom House, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Committee to Protect Journalists, and many more. It might be an interesting reading for him and other government officials, starting from the PM himself. Another assertion that my friend Dr. Yousaf made was equally laughable. He argued that the government was working on human rights, and the evidence he produced was a cash transfer, a mass cash transfer program called ESAS. So, for the international audience, may I add here that ESAS cash transfer program was there, and it has been there since 2009, when the government headed by former Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani of Pakistan People's Party conceived and implemented it. The Cascade expansion plan that was prepared in 2009 was slightly slowed down in the beginning of 2014 by the then government under Mr. Nawaz Sharif, now in exile. But even he, despite his party's traditional and long-standing political rivalry with Pakistan People's Party, even he could not stall the program completely. So all Mr. Khan has done is followed the pre-planned phased expansion of the program and changed the name of the program from Benazir Income Support Program to ESAS. I'm sorry if this is too much detail, but I'm just reiterating it because the next time some representative of Pakistan's government spews lies, you would know the context, the full picture. It goes without saying, though, that cash transfer programs for the poorest of the poor cannot replace fundamental freedoms, which are, I'm afraid, on constant decline ever since Mr. Khan's government was installed by the military establishment by stealing the elections in 2018. I might do actually another program later on how the military accomplished that task, that huge and impossible task otherwise. Third point, about the civil-military relations. Mr. Yousaf said it was Prime Minister's prerogative to appoint whosoever he deems fit for a job. And then he made several assertions, hugely economizing on truth. Each one of his assertions needs separate discussion. He said, and I quote, "5 years from now, I hope that I don't need a national command and operations center where I have to pull in a lot of my non-civilian entities to help in the COVID response. I hope that I'm at a point where all of this is done by the civilians. At this point, we are not there. We have used that to great effect, and you have seen the results," unquote. Well, where do I start? One, the number of civilian institutions conveniently given under the command of serving or retired military officials is far greater than Dr. Yousaf would have us believe. It is not just about National Command and Operations Center, which is again questionable, but I have a list of at least, 57 different government entities where military officials are appointed, retired or serving. Of course, the Prime Minister has a prerogative to appoint anyone he deems fit. Actually not. Not anyone he deems fit. Pakistan is not a presidential form of government. In our country, we have parliamentary system of government. Prime Minister, as first among the ministers, can only appoint individuals shortlisted by relevant ministries after thorough screening and assessing if they meet the given criteria. Now tell me, what criterion of appointment does an army general fill, but not the civilian professionals, in, for example, Federal Public Service Commission, health management, educational institutions, National Disaster Management Authority? What? I mean, saying that civilians are not fit to be appointed in these important positions, which are strictly in civilian domain. It's insulting to the people of Pakistan. Take it, take it with the fact that institutions like Water and Power Management and Accountability Watch Machinery and many other regulatory institutions, they have been under the practical control of the military since decades now. Decades. Look how it has turned out for Pakistan. Every single one of these institutions is creating one crisis or another for the people of Pakistan every single day. Finally, his claim that in Pakistan, civil-military relations are discussed openly and widely, which he seems to think is some kind of a proof of Pakistan's great civil-military balance and freedom of expression. Well, may I ask why so many people, including the mainstream political parties, are talking about it at all? Why military is criticized so widely by so many people? The answer may reveal some difficult and complex realities for the current officials of the Pakistani government, including my friend Dr. Yousaf. It is also hugely misleading to say people are free to criticize the conduct of military in Pakistan. Nothing can be farther from truth than this. Those who choose to call a spade have to either leave the country or are hounded by the law enforcement agencies. Not only law enforcement agencies, but actually by the intelligence agencies and other security agencies. And they are made target of libelous, vicious campaigns against them, against their integrity, using media proxies and using troll farms on social media. And then Dr. Moeed Yousaf says that military is supreme in all countries, including the United States of America. Well, I think Constitution and the democratic values are supreme. Military enjoys respect. Dr. Moeed has lived in the United States of America for many years, and I would presume, actually I'm sure that he knows that military might enjoy utmost respect by the people and the politicians here, but it still is not above the law. American military itself and the entire political class, the civil society, the media, all of the entire fabric of this society jealously guards American democratic ideals, the democratic system, and the rule of law. Anyone violating it is not considered a patriot. That, if I may say, is not the case in Pakistan. If you are committed to democracy and if you express your allegiance to the democratic system and your loyalty to the Constitution, you are deemed to be condemned as the traitor. That has happened in Pakistan, and that is still happening. Thank you very much for viewing it this far. Stay tuned for our next video in this space where we talk about democracy matters, because democracy matters.